Good morning, Rockville. This is Mr. Hibbert, your school librarian. And today we're going to have a brief discussion about academic research. Okay, that's the research you do for a school assignment. Okay, and then we'll focus on tools other than Google because, as you see on the screen there, a lot of times we wonder if there's anything out there better than Google. We tend just to go to Google for everything. But I'll introduce a couple of things to you today, which I think you can use instead of Google. So let's get started. All right, so I'll be showing you things today, databases, online services that require passwords, login information, that sort of thing. You can find that information on your Canvas dashboard under the library tile. If you can't access the library tile, just stop by the library and see me and we'll get it fixed for you. Okay. And as always, if you have any questions about this assignment or any research assignment, just reach out to me right there at the address you see on the screen, or you may come by the library and also speak with Mr. Lyons, our media assistant. All right, so here are today's goals. Today, by the end, hopefully you'll be able to summarize the research process, especially the all-important start. You'll understand the limitations of Google for academic research. You'll be able to successfully navigate or perform a database search. And then finally, you'll understand the importance of the role of search terms in the research process. All right, so what is that research process? At the beginning, and by now, you probably have a topic, okay? And for today's presentation, we'll just use a sample topic, okay? So we're going to use the role of social media or social media's impact on teens, okay? It's a pretty popular research topic for both high school students, college, and adults, okay? We're all wondering about the impact social media has on our brains and our lives, okay? So at the beginning, one of the things that you have to do is what I call educate yourself. So by now, you all have a research topic, okay? You probably know a little bit about it. You may even have opinions about it, okay? It's critical at this point to read as much as you can. Just get basic background information on your topic. This is what I call foundational knowledge. So if you're building a house, it's that cement floor at the bottom upon which you'll put your walls and your first floor and your second floor and everything else. It's the important foundational knowledge. So if you haven't started that yet, I encourage you to start learning more, everything there is to know about that topic. Okay. Now, simply put, however, effective research just answers a question. Okay. If you're not answering a question, you're really just collecting information and then you're giving everything you've collected to your teacher. Okay. In this case, for this assignment, that's not what you're asked to do. Okay. You need to answer a question. And soon, if not now, you'll have a research question. The good thing about a research question is that it limits your research. It kind of what I call puts guardrails on your research. So you're not finding everything. It's something very, very narrow. You're answering a specific question. Okay. So if we were trying to find find information about the impact of social media on teens, okay, I may narrow that down to what is the impact of social media on teens' mental health, or I could narrow it further to maybe one or two platforms like Instagram or Snap or something like that, and we narrow it. That means as I'm researching, if there's information that has nothing to do with, in this case, Snapchat or Instagram, I don't use it in my research product, okay? Now, as we said before, and we'll return to this idea as we go through the presentation, this educating yourself will continue throughout the research process. None of us is an expert on anything, really. We may know a lot about something, but we're certainly not an expert, okay? So keep reading, all right? So let's get started. You may think, okay, why can't I just go to Google and type in, what is social media's impact on a database, okay? When we do that, okay, we get 280 million results. Okay, so as you see on the screen here within the quotation marks, if I type in social media impact on teens, those 5 words, 280 million results. Now, what you may not know is the difference between page 1 and the difference between page 15. No one really knows. We have ideas, okay? There's something called an algorithm or the recipe that Google uses to say, okay, this won't be number 1 result, this one will be number 2 result. It doesn't share its algorithm with anybody, okay? And like the screen says, we're all busy. No one has the time to sift through 280 million results to figure out what is best for you. Okay. Google doesn't know that you're a high school student working on a project for Ms. Korotkin. Okay. It literally takes those 5 words you see on your screen, social media impact on teens, and searches the entire world's internet and says, here's every single article ever that have these 5 words in it. Okay. And you have no idea what the ranking system's based on. Worst, not worst, second best, first best, no idea. Okay. Now, this is where a database comes in. Databases are collections of articles that have been reviewed and approved by subject matter experts. Okay. So experts, your university professors and others will write articles, perform research, and before their articles are published, it goes to other experts in the field who read and ask questions and then finally approve the article. And then it gets published. And then the database can go out and get it. Okay. So you won't get inaccurate information. Okay. So I know, as we'll demonstrate later on, when you do your search of a database, you won't get 280 million. We're going to narrow it down to, you may end up with just a couple dozen results. That's a lot better. Okay. It saves you a lot of time, a lot better than 280 million. Then finally, as you see down here in the lower left part of the screen, there used to be a website out there called martinlutherking.org, which was a site that many people all over the world use for information about the civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. Unfortunately, okay, the website had a lot of bad information, misinformation about Martin Luther King. It was learned later that a white nationalist group owned the site and was purposely giving out bad information about Martin Luther King. Now, when this website was up, if you went to Google, you could have gotten a result that said, go to martinlutherking.org. Okay. It didn't evaluate the website. It does not evaluate websites. Okay. It just says, here are the search terms I found on all these websites. You will never have that issue with the database because the database will vet or approve of the information that it sends to its users. Okay. All right. So let's get started. We're going to go to ProQuest. That's one of the websites or databases that Ms. Korotkin sent out to you. Okay. Now, where do you find all these databases? Right here you see on your screen is the database chart that I referenced at the beginning of the presentation. You'll find this on your Canvas page. Okay. So let's scroll down a bit. And there are a couple of things that you can use. I think you'll be using Gale and Context right here, line 9. And this one here, SIRS Issue Researcher. So let's click on that first. Okay. I'm going to select the institution or school. Here we are, Rockville, Maryland. We'll log in. And we're going to come over here to Issues Researcher. That is the pro-con website, both sides of an issue. Okay. Anytime you do research on something, you have to address the other side of the issue. Most research is an argument style, will result in an argument style paper where you put forth a belief or an opinion backed by research. You always have to acknowledge competing or contrarian or the other side of the issue because it really validates that your argument is the better argument. Okay. So I'm going to go up here and let's type in social media. Now we'll scroll down here and we'll see all the different ways or results about that we're giving for social media. Okay, now before we do that, notice up here there are 25,000 results. Remember, when we typed that into Google, okay, it was 280 million. Okay, and in fact, let's go up here and type in that exact phrase: social media impact on teens. Now we're done 992. Remember, we started with 280 million. Now it's 992. Okay, now over here on the left, you see what we call limiters. You could take this 992 and say that's too many. I want fewer results. How may I do that? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here to the publication date. Now, does anyone really care about social media in 1990? No, because there was maybe a MySpace page. So if I'm in your position, I'm going to say, give me information maybe from the past, I'll say 5 years. So I'm going to click on this calendar icon, and I'm going to go all the way back to, let's say, 2017. In fact, that feels kind of old. I'm going to go with September of 2019 as my September 1st, and then today's date, which is March 1st. Okay, because social media changes all the time, and I want the best information, most current information out there. I'll click on apply. Remember, we were at 992. Let's see what happens. Now we're down to 110. Okay, far better from the 280 million before. Now let's take a look over here at the type of source that you want: newspapers, magazines, books, web resources, scholarly journals, and so forth. Okay. I think this 110 is okay to start with. Okay. Now, if you click on newspapers, you'll have to decide or learn whether the newspaper article is a news article, okay, which is based on facts, or an opinion article, which is something that may be biased in the opinion that it's offering. Okay. So let's scroll down here a little bit. Screens take toll on teens. Right. Well, that's kind of interesting. Let's click on that. Okay. Now, what I like here, the first thing you see is a summary of the article. Now, if you want to read an entire article, you can start with the summary and see if that makes sense for you. If it does, keep reading. Okay. Now, let's direct our attention over here to the right. You can save this to your Google Drive. Okay. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is this cite button. You'll need to submit a bibliography, an annotated bibliography. Watch what happens when I click on the citation button. It loads in MLA format. That's what you'll be using. Okay, here is the citation. So I'm going to highlight. I can copy and paste that right to my bibliography page. Okay, make sure you confirm with Ms. Korotkin the rules concerning bibliography pages. Okay, the most basic is they're listed in alphabetical order. Okay. All right, let's scroll down here a little bit. Here is the article. Okay, and we keep scrolling all the way down. Okay, it's not a terribly long article. And it gives you other subjects. Now, this is important. We talked earlier, or we should have talked earlier, about the importance of key terms, okay, search terms. So when we scroll to the top here, we're searching for social media's impact on teens, okay? Now, let's think of some synonyms. What else could you have other than social media, okay? And then you start listing those terms. Maybe you put in Instagram, maybe you put in TikTok, so specific platforms, okay? And then you try and find other words for social media. You can even go to a thesaurus website, type in social media, and then you go back to this database and others and use another term for social media, and you'll get more results, okay? Because you want the best information that you can find. Don't limit yourself just by that first search phrase that you use: social media impact on teens, okay? All right, so there is how you use this first database. Let's go back to our presentation, and we'll come down here. Now, this is a brief let's have a brief discussion on search terms. Okay. If we were doing something on cars, okay, look at all these synonyms we have for cars: car, auto, automobile, and transportation. Can you think of another one? What's another word for something like cars or automobiles or transportation? Okay. Give it a few seconds, see if you can come up with something. How about vehicle? Vehicle, vehicle. Now that's something else that's another possible search term. Okay, so I would keep a list, either a Google Doc or handwritten note somewhere where you have all of your different search terms. The more you research, the more search terms you'll discover. Okay, and then you go back and you try those searches as well. Okay, so next we'll take a look at Gale in context. That's slightly different from the ProCon site. So let's go back here to our database lists. And here we are on line 9, Gale in Context High School. This is a really good website, okay, when you want to just educate a basic informational foundation about a topic, okay. And so let's go up here and let's type in social media. Now, let's go back. You see all the things down here? All these search terms people have used on this site. Okay, possible searches for you as well. Impact on teens. Let's see what we come up with here. Now, so let's scroll down a little bit. Now, note up here, 4 and 1. We only have 5. Now, for me, okay, that's a little too few. Okay, I think I want more than 5. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm just going to get rid of on teens. Social media impact. And let's see what pops up. Now we have more. So you see at the top here, we have 3 videos, 4 audio interviews, 134 magazine articles, 432 news articles, 16 academic journals, and a critical essay. Now, academic journals, we talked about earlier. These are articles written by very educated people, and before they were published, they were verified by subject matter experts. So what I would do, I would start with the academic journals before I looked at any of these other categories, okay? Now let's look at our limiters over here. We can limit our choices by the publication date, and we talked about why we want to do that. And you see there are another 8 or so here. The most important one is right here, full text documents, okay? If you don't select full text documents, you may get a summary or an abstract of an article. And for this assignment, a summary won't do you that much good. You want the full article. So let's select full text documents, and let's see what happens. We only lost a few up here, which is good, okay? Now let's go over here to publication dates. Now before, we went back, I think we said 3 years or so. Let's go back to, let's say, 2018. Let's go back to September, and we'll do the 1st, and then we'll go to today's dates, and then we'll click apply. And look at that. Now we have 5 academic journals to choose from, and news articles, and 134 news articles, 20 magazines, and so on. Okay, that's an easier list to handle, okay, than is something else. And frankly, I don't know if I would want social media information from 2015. Okay, that's 7 years old. A lot of changes have occurred since then. You always have that choice to go back up and alter this part here and go back before 2018 if you don't like what you're getting. So let's scroll down here a little bit. I want to find the academic journals first, and here they are. Okay, so deep impact, 4 tips for authors and journal editors to improve altmetric scores. Okay, this looks like it has nothing to do with what we want, so we're going to skip it. Let's scroll down to this one here, social media and substance use among adolescents. So this might be trying to connect the use of social media and drug use among adolescents. Kind of interesting, so let's take a look. Okay, so right here's an abstract. Okay, now the good thing about an abstract, though, when you have the whole article along with it, is that you can read the abstract and make a decision as to whether you want to continue reading or not. And look at this down here. Keywords: social media, behavior, substance use, alcohol use, adolescence. Okay. So you may want to take some of these keywords and add them to your list for your next search. Let's scroll to the top here. Again, an important button. You can save this to your Google Drive. If you even think you might use it, save it to your drive. Okay. OneDrive we don't have. You can also email it to someone if you want. This is your print button. Let's scroll to the very bottom. And here is your MLA citation here. So again, copy this, paste it on your bibliography page. Remember, alphabetical order. For these academic journals, another thing I like, these references include the articles that the author of this article used to write the article. So these are other things that you could do a search for, and it'll give you more information, okay? Google doesn't give you this. That's another reason why you should use a database, okay? So there is a quick tour of the second database that we're going to take a look at today, Gale and Context High School. Let's go back to the presentation slides. Okay, let's summarize what we've learned today. Okay, we know that Google really isn't the right tool for research because it gives us far too many results. Okay, and it doesn't guarantee accuracy of any of the results. Okay, databases provide more accurate information. It's more efficient because you can use limiters to get fewer results. Okay, we also talked about how you need to use synonyms for your search terms in order to broaden your search. Don't limit yourself just to your first search term or search phrase. We talked about using limiters once you get your results to narrow that list to something that's manageable. And then finally, we realized that databases give us the source information that you need for your bibliographies. Again, something that Google won't give you. So again, if you need any assistance on this assignment or any research assignment, please come by the library, stop and talk to me, Mr. Hibbard. You may also talk with Mr. Lyons. Good luck on this assignment and have a good day.